Hi guys, welcome back to Chess the Matthew. So on this video, I will show you on how to win on the Zukertort opening in just 10 moves. So here I've played the first move, which is the knight f3 that leads to the Zukertort opening, and here my opponent reply with knight to c6, which is the idea is to counter the attack of my knight on f3 with his knight on c6. And here I play the move g3, trying to flank to my bishop on g2. And after, for example, I play bishop g2, then here I can immediately castle on the king side and put my king into a safe square. But here my opponent plays the move e5, trying to open up some lines for his queen and for his bishop, and with the idea of attacking my knight on f3. So here I decided to play the move e4, which is to attack the e5. But here was just in this position that my d4 pawn was defended with 2 and attacked twice by the black. So in exchanges to the d4 leads to equality. So after it takes d4, here I put some spice on this game and try to gambit some pawns with the move c3. And return that I can have a rapid development. After d takes c3, which is on the text move, I grab the pawn with the knight, and we shall see in this position that I have now 2 developing piece versus 1, and after a week I can actually put my bishop on the developing square, for example, and castle, in which obviously it can give a rapid development of this position with a gambited pawn on c3. But here after, for example, let's say after c3, the black here can simply place the move knight f6 instead of d takes c3, because here after c takes d4, d5, bishop g2, bishop d6, castle, and bishop g5, bishop e6, and knight c3, we shall see on this position that it is kind of drawish position. And the only thing that the difference is that I have 2 pawns on the center versus 1, which I think it is not comfortable for black to play on. And so he decided to capture my gambited pawn on c3, and here, as like I said, I am off for a rapid development with knight takes c3. So here my opponent plays a passive move, which is d6, although he can play here bishop to c5 and tries to complete his development on the king side and put his king to safety as soon as possible. But here I can simply play the move bishop g2, and if black plays the move knight f6, castle, here I can just simply play the move bishop to g5, pinning his knight with my bishop, and after d6, knight d5, giving some pressure to the knight f6 with 2 attacker. And let's say, for example, my opponent here plays the bishop to e6, I can manage to cripple his pawns on the king side and give some attacking chances to the white's perspective. After, for example, bishop takes f6, g takes f6, and knight f4, we shall see that the pawns on the king side was on the damage and putting his king on a exposed of attack. So here, after d6, which he does on the text move, I'll play the move d4 here and tries to delay my development on king side, which is actually can put my bishop on the g2 and castle. But here I was actually waiting, because here my opponent can have some, for example, bishop development and queen to e7, and he can actually goes for an opposite casting. So here I just delay the bishop g2 and the castle on the king side as my idea on move 2, which is g3. And here he plays the move bishop to g4, pinning my knight on f3, and maybe he was trying to play the move knight f6 and queen to f6, putting some great pressure on my queen on f3. But here I just play the move bishop to c4, and after the move bishop to c4, my opponent here blundered with the move knight to e5, because after knight to e5 it leads to win the game, because it is an obvious bad move. And after, let's say for example, bishop to c4, my opponent should play the move queen to f6 and put a pressure on my f3 in another way with the bishop and queen. And let's say for example, after bishop to e2 and then queen to e6, and gives an equal game on this position. So after bishop to c4 and knight e5, a blunder move, I simply now capture the knight on e5. It is a blunder move because, for example, if my opponent here just played the move d takes e5, here I can now capture his bishop on g4, which is undefended, and after knight f6, queen e5, attacking this pawn on e5. And if he defend with bishop, here comes now the bishop to g5, pressurizing his knight f6, and this is in this position that still I am now at all pawns up on this position with an attacking chances against the black. And here after knight takes e5, he actually again blundered and immediately captured my queen on d1, and here it leads now to a mate n2. After, for example, I play now with bishop takes f7, so the bishop cannot be captured because it was defended. He cannot go to that square, and the only square he can go is king e7, and after knight to d5, we shall see in this position that it is already now a checkmate because there is no cover, no culture, and the escape to the knight check on the d5. So just a recap, I win in just 10 moves with the Zukertort opening after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to subscribe.